And, you know, Senator Durbin, I find it very interesting that you refused repeated Republican requests to release the Epstein flight logs in 2023 and 2024. You fought that. Did you take money from Reid Hoffman, campaign donations, who was a huge Epstein friend? Why did you fight for years? Why did you fight to not disclose the flight logs, Senator Durbin?
I can tell you I did not refuse. One of the senators here wished to produce those logs, and I asked her to put it in writing, and she never did.
Yeah, I think Senator Blackburn would quarrel with you on that.
I will quarrel with you as to...
Mr. Chairman, since Senator Durbin referred to me, I would really appreciate the opportunity to correct the record. Because Senator Durbin knows I repeatedly asked for those flight logs. I brought up the subpoena. You even shut down the committee because you didn't want that, and you know I submitted that in writing, and you continue to misrepresent that, and I am not going to let that record stand.
You know, you're very concerned about money and people taking money, and you rail against dark money. Yeah, you work with dark money groups all the time, Senator Whitehouse.
Did you know?
I would be more concerned if I were you when you talk about corruption and money, that when you pushed for legislation that would subsidize your wife's company.
What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will. Senator Blumenthal, I find it so interesting that you didn't bring any of this up during President Biden's administration when he was doing everything to protect Hunter Biden, his son. And I think you just saw what Director Radcliffe just released.
You know, this is an effort to be positive.
If I can finish answering the question, I'm not going to yell over you. I'm not going to get in the gutter with you. But information that the Biden administration told them not to investigate Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
Double standard is clear, and the American people are waking up to the corruption and favoritism and the lawlessness of the DOJ. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I respond, Chairman?
Yes.
May I respond?
Yes, you may respond. And Senator Kennedy.
Thank you. The double standard is crystal clear, Senator Hirono. Crystal clear. Because you didn't complain for 4 years when President Trump was being targeted by Jack Smith, by the last Justice Department. But the American people spoke loud and clear when they overwhelmingly elected him.
Was she
was she
right?
If you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying. And I'm not going to be lectured to you about integrity by someone who lied about being in the military just to be elected a senator. And I find it interesting that you want order in this proceeding now. Excuse me, Senator. You want order in this proceeding now. You sure didn't have order when you stormed Secretary Noem at a press conference in California, did you? Will you apologize?